Then they do a package on Edge and Beth and the Judgment Day. And I'm thinking, I'm really hoping I'm going to like this. And spoiler, I did. Edge and Beth against Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. And this was better with Finn, not only because you did need, a guy that has more experience, a little bit more, ring awareness than Priest at this point for the match, and also somebody need to drop the fall. I think I predicted that as soon as we heard about the match. But it was mostly Beth versus Rhea. And we got a chance to see Rhea work with another girl that's comparable in size and has experience and can work. They had one little awkward moment early on and regrouped it. But these girls, they look like stars, and they're over. And they look like something, and they can work. And, that was, I think, this is another one of Ripley's steps up the ladder where you can see that she can be put in a lot of different positions and come out, looking good. Dominic missed the first interference cutoff spot on Beth and had to trip her a second time, but finally got it. And they got heat on Beth. And then Beth, they were milking trying to milk the hot tag, Beth to Edge. And at one point she had hit the DDT and crawled for the tag, but Finn pulled Edge off the apron, so she couldn't make the tag. And again, these girls, they turned it up. Rhea tried the Beth's glam slam off the buckles, but Beth fought out of it and hit a superplex off the top. Both of them sold it. And then we actually saw a hot tag. Because out of nowhere, Beth kicked Ripley into Balor. Boom, and dove and made a hot tag. And here comes Edge. Big comeback. And they get their little modified sharpshooter deals. What is the Edgecution or the Edge? It's a play on words, whatever the name of the holds are. But Beth gets Rhea and Edge gets Balor. And then Dominic jumps up, draws the referee, and pitches Ripley brass knucks, and Ripley nails Edge. And Finn covered for a 2 count. Edge had to turn his shoulder. Beth was 1 second late on the save. But then the girls go to the floor. Finn goes for the stomp off the top. Beth stops him. Both girls power bombed both guys. They were already up on the ropes. They didn't have to pick them up from scratch, but that was a nice spot. And then at the finish, they'd lined up. Ripley's going to smash Beth with the chair on the steps, which is, again, a bit much. But Beth foiled it and turned it into a glam slam on the floor, and Edge dropped Balor and dove out on Dominic. And then jumped in, speared Finn Balor, and Edge and Beth hit FTR's finish for whatever reason.
Because they're friends. That's why.
Okay, well, there you go. On Balor 1, 2, 3, and boom. The right team won. The babyfaces had to win this. It was a good match. What else tell me what you thought. Am I being too effusive? Was I just too happy that they finally gave us something worth watching?
I thought it was really good. I think maybe a little too effusive, at least for my sensibilities. I thought it was a little too sloppy at times, not just the Dominic spot. There were a few other moments. I will say, though, to me, this match was one thing. It was the Rhea Ripley show. Whether it was the makeup on her eyes whenever she was selling and her eyes would get wide and it looked incredible, but every time she sold, couldn't take my eyes off her. And it's not just because she's a beautiful woman for you dirty people out there.
You dirty, dirty people.
But like in the best way a wrestler makes it so that the little things they do are the things that stand out. To me, she was the star of the whole match. Everything she did looked incredible. And that's really my big takeaway here. It was an all right match, though.
And, again...
Crowd got really hot for the finish.
Yes, there was a personal issue. The people hate Dominic, and he was able to, they were able to use him at ringside, but there was a personal issue. People know who each person is, and everything in the match made sense. Even if there were a few bobbles, I'd again rather people try to put together something coherent from start to finish and maybe bobble in the middle than just bobble all the time because they're just jumping back and forth for no apparent reason. Speaking of no apparent reason, they did a package on The Miz. Why? I wrote. They have pushed this clown to the moon for years for no explicable fucking reason.
He does everything they like.
Well, he don't do everything I like.
Every now and then, he's involved in a segment, and you're like, I have to give it to the guy. He's all right. And then the next week, you forget all about that. And you're right back to, why is this guy on my TV? I hate this guy. He looks like a frog, whatever it is that you say.